Hello and welcome. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. Last Friday at 12:55 p.m., an improvised device exploded in Bengaluru's Rameshwaram Cafe. Located in an area that is frequented by office crowds in the midst of the IT corridor at lunch hour rush, a man walked into the cafe calmly. He ordered himself a meal. 9 minutes later, he walked out, leaving his bag behind with a bomb inside it. That was 7 days ago. Even today, we do not know who that man was, what his antecedents are, or what his ultimate goal was. It's taken a full week for the clearest leads to emerge and for the bomber to perhaps seal his escape route. Clues are now mounting and the probe is widening. The NIA is looking into an ISIS link. Its Ballari module is now under the scanner. The NIA has taken into custody 4 members of this module. Minaz, alias Mohammad Suleiman, is one of them. Remember, the NIA was investigating similarities between different blasts in the state in the past to this particular one. This accused may have tried to disturb peace and cause mayhem, but the resilience of Bengalurians has not been shattered. Rameshwaram Cafe in Whitefield is ready to open its doors to its patrons once again. That's expected in just a few minutes from now, in fact. Karnataka Chief Minister, his deputy and the State Home Minister are all expected to be there in just a few minutes from now. The cafe will be thrown open to the public from tomorrow. This morning, in fact, special prayers and rituals were held as well. Now, as a restaurant owner, his staff, all the customers are ready to welcome this reopening. They're also clinging on to hope that justice is done at the earliest. Will the terror suspect be apprehended? Will he spill the beans, or what drove him to this act? Is there a bigger nexus that will lead the agencies to? All of those questions need answering. So what are these clues that the agency is depending on? Let's take you through those. There's a sequence of events, visuals that have been accessed by CNN News 18 from the day of the blast, and how each CCTV clincher has provided a key lead to the investigators. You can see on your screens, this is the day of the blast. Inside the Rameshwaram Cafe on the 1st of March, the blast suspect had entered the cafe at 11:34 a.m. He exited at 11:43 a.m. 12 minutes later, the bomb went off. This was the moment the blast was caught on camera. A few hours later, the suspect was caught on CCTV once again. He was seen at approximately 3 p.m. spotted on a bus travelling from Bengaluru to Tumkuru. He's caught sitting in the bus wearing a t-shirt. In this particular video, you can see him with a cap on, with a face mask on, but then you see him sitting down at the rear end of the bus, the last seat, in which you can see him without his face mask, without his cap. The visuals of the suspect just at the time of his entry and exit inside the cafe are completely different. In that, you can see him in the cap, in a black backpack, a full sleeve shirt, dark trousers, spectacles as well. He is suspected to have changed his clothes before travelling onto the bus to Tumkuru, is what we're given to understand. Now, agencies are trying to piece together the larger plot based on these credible leads, unmasking the main accused that have been spotted in multiple of these footages. In these visuals, there were almost 8 hours later, 8 hours after the blast. The accused is seen at the bus stop in Ballari. The accused escape trail from Tumkuru to Ballari holds key to this investigation, which is why the ISIS Ballari module is now under the scanner. The suspect took buses to Ballari, changed his clothes on the way as well. He left behind his cap. Was that a mistake, a slip on his part? Was that deliberate? That's also something that is being investigated. The NIA is going through all of this CCTV footage with a fine-tooth comb. The minutest details will help crack this case. Here's what the terror agency is working with. Several of these CCTV footages have now come to the fore. The accused can be seen without a mask inside the bus. That is the clearest picture of his face. He was seen travelling in multiple places, multiple public buses, BMTC buses in Bengaluru on the same day after the bomb went off. He was also caught on camera making multiple stopovers. Were they deliberate? Was he just trying to throw the investigators and the police off their scent? All of that is under investigation. The accused is likely to have been seen near a place of worship as well. That's also something that is being investigated. Is that where he stopped over to change his clothes? That is what is being investigated as well. He may have discarded his cap there after changing his attire. Remember, he was seen with his cap while he was entering the cafe and exiting. But hours later, when you see him on the bus, there is no cap. The baseball cap is likely to have been worn later, is what we're given to understand, was recovered from a mosque nearby. The suspect may have moved to Ballari, and in that footage that we just showed you, he was spotted at that Ballari bus stop as well. Now, before travelling there, he's likely to have travelled to Tumkuru, is what the agencies believe. His trail from Tumkuru to Ballari is very, very important. At that bus stop again, he was seen wearing a mask and then moving around. So in between, for those very few seconds when you can actually see his face, was that a slip up? Is that going to cost him? That's a question many are asking. And is that going to be the one thing that leads the investigating agencies to him? So why Ballari? What is the link? Is it just a coincidence or is it a deliberate part of an elaborate ploy? The lens is on 4 ISIS operatives. The NIA Special Court today granted a body warrant to the authorities for a Mohammad Suleiman, who was first arrested back in December 2023. This was during raids by the investigating agency in another case. 3 other suspects that are also in jail have also been questioned by the NIA. Anas Iqbal Sheikh, Shan Rahman alias Hussain and Syed Samir. But let's take a look at who the main accused is. He is believed to be the head of the ISIS Ballari module. He's Minaz alias Mohammad Suleiman. He's a cloth merchant from Ballari. He is the one behind this module or the sleeper cell from Ballari is what the agencies believe. He's suspected to be a part of PFI, now a banned organization. He's suspected to have info on this particular blast. Is that why this accused was seen in Ballari? That is what is being investigated. Remember, like I said, he was arrested back in December 2023. Several incriminating documents were seized from him back then. Sulfur, potassium nitrate were also found from him. There were sharp-edged weapons that were recovered during those raids. It also led to the seizure of explosive raw materials. Gunpowder, smartphones, several other digital devices were also found. The NIA then had suspected that the accused had planned to use these explosive raw materials for the fabrication of IEDs, which were to be used for carrying out such terror acts. So was that something that led to what we saw last Friday? Do they now know of what exactly went down as far as planning the Rameshwaram Cafe blast goes? Were all of them involved? Were their associates involved? All of that will now have to be probed. Which is why we ask on Plain Speak tonight. The Rameshwaram Cafe is bouncing back, but how long before the bomber is brought to justice?
Start from tomorrow for the public, 100 times more energy.
And after the incident, necessary measures, security measures are also being undertaken by the cafe. Metal detectors have been placed here for security reasons.
Before I open this up and bring in our panelists, let me cut across to Bengaluru from outside the Rameshwaram Cafe, where my colleague Harish Upadhyay is now reporting from. In fact, he is right inside. We're already seeing several people come in there. The doors have opened 1 week later. The resilience is something that is definitely welcome, Harish. But answers are prayers. Answers are something that they're still looking for.
Well, just to give a glimpse of what's happening here, we are just moments away from Rameshwaram Cafe opening. You can see all preparation underway inside the kitchen. Remember, this Rameshwaram Cafe is known for its dosas, different variety of dosas and its filter coffee. And you can see those dosa tawas being readied here just before the Chief Minister, the Deputy Chief Minister and other dignitaries arrive here. And perhaps since 6 in the morning tomorrow, it will be open for public is what they are saying. It's not clear if people can come in after the dignitaries leave this evening, but exactly a week later, we have Rameshwaram Cafe being opened for public. This is a message that the owners of the Rameshwaram Cafe want to send across, and the government, perhaps in part of it, also wants to send across a message that this hasn't really dented the image of the city of Bangalore as an investment destination, as a destination for businesses to do their day-to-day business, because this is an important area. We are talking about the IT heart of Bengaluru, the IT corridor of Bengaluru. A lot of IT companies here, and all of them right now operating out of this, and it's a message that everyone wants to send across. You see puja happening from morning, various rituals and pujas that have happened from morning and continue to happen today as well. And in a short while you will have various dignitaries including the Chief Minister and others coming in here. That is something that D.K. Shivakumar had also said on the day of the blast, that they would want to send a message that everyone is safe in Bengaluru, the law and order is under control. There's nothing that businesses and people who invest here need to worry about.
Absolutely. It's brand Bengaluru that was under attack, but that is something that has to be safeguarded. It will be safeguarded. That's the kind of message that the state government, the agencies also want to send out. Even as we see the cafe opening up, whether it's open to the public today or not, we still don't know. But so many people have turned up there just in a sense of solidarity to show that irrespective of what happens, we're all standing together in the face of terror.
Absolutely. It's not just people from the government who've been invited. A lot of other people have turned up on their own to express solidarity. As you said, a lot of people from the hotel industry, they are here to express their solidarity, and they've been here on the day of the blast as well. And also local citizens and others who've been here, who were the, in a way, first responders when the blast took place. They were the ones who rushed the people who were injured to the hospital. They are here. Various others, including the police, have been working on this case. Some of them here who are not part of the investigation but are from the local station, they are here. And a lot more people who've seen, who've been regular customers of Rameshwaram Cafe. We've spoken to a couple of them outside who wanted to know when the cafe will open, so they are there. So a lot of people turning up just for solidarity, and perhaps tomorrow and day after, being a weekend, you will see a lot more people who will come in because every time we were here, even the day after the blast, many of them wanted to know when they can return to their regular routine. The Rameshwaram Cafe itself has seen a bit of an alteration that's happened, bit of changes made, especially in areas where there was an explosion, where the structure had suffered, or
right,
at least the interior had suffered a bit of damage. That has been fixed, and everything in readiness, including the kitchen that dishes out some mouth-watering dosa for its patrons.
Absolutely, and those patrons are waiting for Rameshwaram Cafe to open its doors once again. For the moment, Harish, thank you so much for getting us the latest from on ground there. Cutting across to the guests that join us on this panel, spokesperson of Karnataka BJP, Dr. Sudha Halkai joins me. Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst who backs the Karnataka government, is also with us. Former DCP of crime in Karnataka Police, N.D. Mullah, also with us. Yashovardhan Azad, former special director of the IB, joins us as well. Let me begin by asking Mr. Azad, so what has been your assessment? It's been 1 week now. There are several clues, yes, but the biggest question remains, even though this man has been caught on camera with his face out there, we're yet not able to track him down, figure out who he is, what his identity is, what his antecedents are.
Well, there are problems, I guess, with facial identification, and it might not be matching with the database. So it will take some time, but that clarity which you have given in that picture, I'm sure that now it shouldn't be much time before he's apprehended. I would also say that the investigation is absolutely in the right direction, because if you see the history, and you've already given a very detailed introduction about NIA, raiding about 44 locations, 16 locations in 4 states, including Karnataka last year. It was evident that there was 2 strands, and one would be whether to chase the PFI module or to chase the ISIS module. And today many of the ex-SIMI cadres are seamlessly moving into the PFI, and now that it's banned, is moving into the ISIS. I'm very happy that his trace, which was found in where he left for Ballari, that the Ballari module has been concentrated upon. Incidentally, one thing more also, if you recall last year, prison radicalization is a huge important thing. And that's why last year also 4 people had been caught. And I'm sure with the apprehension of these 4 who will be taken for custody, not exactly arrested, a lot of details will come out. Hopefully, we should catch this man soon, because this is a troubling case with the coming elections and the nature of the attack.
Absolutely. The bigger picture is why it's important as well. I want to get in the former DCP of crime from Karnataka Police as well. Sir, we've seen this kind of activity that's taking place, the kind of radicalization that Yashovardhan Azad was talking about inside prisons in Karnataka, across the state as well. We've seen several of these blasts in Shivakumar, in Bengaluru a couple of years ago as well. Is there a bigger link that also needs to be looked into, or is it just a coincidence? Are these isolated incidences?
Between 2008 and 2024, that is a serial blast of 2008 and Rameshwaram 2024, we have witnessed 8 bomb blasts. All the bomb blasts are of, have been very surprising, in a quarter century, 24 years or so. I mean, 2008, I mean, 20 years or so, 20 odd years. 8 bomb blasts. 1 in Shivakumar and 1 in Bengaluru. That apart, 6 have taken place in Bengaluru. I'm always intrigued that why these bomb blasts are. No major damage is caused. 2008, one woman was killed. She was waiting for the bus in the bus stand. And another case was another woman was killed in Church Street. Except that, and if you were injured in a BJP office blast in 2010, I think, or 2014. So, except that, all these devices are IEDs, improvised devices. And of course, improvised devices, anybody can make it, is available on internet. But in all these cases, accused have been arrested. But exactly, general public is not aware of what the motive is. When 2013 to 2008 took place, we all thought that it is a preparation for a major blast later on, but nothing of that sort happened. Then came 2010 Chinnaswamy Stadium, then came BJP 2013, then came 2014 Church Street, then came 2018 Mangalore, 2020 Shantinagar, then Shivakumar, then Rameshwaram Cafe. All these are hardly anybody, I mean, the injury has been caused, but not to the extent, the moment you say the bomb blast.
Yes.
I'm not telling that there should have been more deaths, injuries. Not what was the purpose of the terrorists?
It looks like it was more to create panic and more to create mayhem and fear rather than actually inflict more casualties. It looks like it was just about trying to cause that panic and fear, sir. Is that what you're trying to say?
What's the purpose? It has never caused any panic. It has not been followed up with another blast. Very surprising. Anyway, I'm not just, just a comment, a common man's, from a common man's perspective. Positive thing is, all these cases have been detected except maybe Rameshwaram, the latest one. It will be detected. Bengaluru police, NIA, CCTV, state police, all are very, very efficient in this. In earlier cases, there was no clue. You mind it, earlier cases, there was no clue. Here I'll like to mention another incident wherein a woman was badly assaulted in an ATM. The accused was absconding, but we never had any clue. We arrested them. So all these cases, whatever the cases has happened, now we have got enough evidence here, enough clues here that we are going to arrest. I'm very, very sure.
Absolutely, and all agencies are working together, and that's really the need of the hour.
I'm very, very sure. Sooner or later, this fellow will be arrested. He'll be somewhere, whether Ballari,
absolutely, and we do hope that it's sooner than later, if I may say so. I also want to get in the other two panelists with us on this broadcast. Dr. Halkai, we're seeing the investigation progress. We're seeing several clues that have now emerged. The NIA is investigating a wider ring as well. Why then does the BJP think that the government in the state is not doing its job efficiently?
Poonam, let's go back into the history and see when there was a bomb blast in Mangalore, that is in the auto rickshaw, there was a cooker bomb blast. That time also Mr. D.K. Shivakumar had given a statement that, it is an accidental blast and it is not a bomb blast. Now also, before any investigations have given any statement, they are in the forefront to give the statement saying that, this is a cylinder blast and this might be something, a business rivalry and all. Why are they safeguarding these culprits? My question is, why are they safeguarding these culprits? And in the earlier Siddaramaiah-led government, They have released 1500 culprits of the PFI. Why did they release them? The cases against PFI was closed earlier also, and they are not at the verge of releasing the emergency funds or taking care of the victims, whereas the DJ Halli and KG Halli victims are taken care immediately. The funds are released immediately. They themselves are released immediately. The mode of action by the Congress government is too fast. Then, when it comes to people where there are no casualties with the minorities, they are simply taking their own time. It is very obvious. They are at the forefront, giving a heavenly safe zone for all these anti-nationals and anti-social elements.
Sure. Syed Asad Abbas, the Congress was quick to try and dismiss it, is what the BJP says. That maybe some comments were made by the state government prematurely. They should have waited for the investigation to get over.
I completely disagree with the Karnataka BJP spokesperson. I have my reasons. Firstly, let me tell you, Poonamji, the fact that our city of Bengaluru, I being a Bengalurian all my life, we've taken great inspiration from Mumbai, the city that never sleeps. Let me tell you, Bengaluru is a city that never stops. The fact that even at Rameshwaram Cafe, the blast taking place, now people coming out. Tomorrow, I would definitely want to visit there. I've been a regular customer there. In fact, recently, even Bollywood actor like Kartik Aaryan and many others have been there. That is truly the spirit of the beautiful city of Bengaluru. If you've been, I'm sure you're welcome to this wonderful cafe which serves the best of idlis and dosas. Now, coming to the points made by the Karnataka BJP spokesperson. Respected ma'am, it was our Honorable Chief Minister, who's Siddaramaiah ji, who immediately took the reforms, gave the free hand to the Karnataka State Police, ably led by the Director General of Police, Mr. Alok Mohan, and the Commissioner, Mr. B. Dayanand, along with the police squad, bomb squad, the forensic science laboratory team, who were there 24/7 non-stop doing their duty. And of course, the National Investigation Agency.
Why was Siddaramaiah government last time released 1500 culprits of the PFI?
Dr. Halkai, I'll give you time to rebut. Let him finish his point.
Allow me to finish, ma'am, please. Thank you. Poonamji, we need to understand that the Bangalore police is one of the best that we have in our country today. The Karnataka State Police especially, we come only second to the Mumbai police. Police was ably led by, like I said, the DGP, the Commissioner, the bomb squad, the dog squad, and also the FSL teams, who handed over the full report to the National Investigation Agency, and also the CCTV has been working without sleepless towards this. The fact we need to understand, it was the Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Siddaramaiah ji, who did not do any politics of sorts. It was BJP who time and again did not understand that in matters of state security, national security, we need to come together. Be it a Congress party, BJP, or even the JDS.
Absolutely.
If we are going to fight
That's what we are saying. That we need to stand together.
Absolutely, we need to stand together. It's not time for politics. And the two gentlemen who come from investigating agencies will say exactly that. That this kind of politics is what hampers investigations of serious nature like this. That's the allegation. That's the allegation, Dr. Halkai, that's being made against the BJP. That everything is not about politics. This is one of those issues. This is one of those issues where everyone must stand together.
We are standing together. Why aren't they standing together? Why they are giving a statement prior to any investigations are giving any statement? And tell me, why is that so soft against all these people? Why are they again into appeasement politics? If it was not appeasement politics, they are at the forefront to give justice. Why it is absolutely unfair? This is absolutely appeasement politics. You have done it earlier also. You are giving a soft state for this. No, you are giving a red carpet welcome for them, and you have been very soft towards them.
These are very,
no question of countering. There is no way. Why did Siddaramaiah government release all the PFI culprits earlier?
Can I counter?
Yes, Mr. Abbas. Yes, Mr. Abbas, go ahead. Dr. Halkai, you've put some questions. Dr. Halkai, you've put some questions forth. I will get in ND Mullah sir as well. But Mr. Abbas, yes, 30 seconds. Go ahead.
30 seconds counter. Thank you, ma'am. The fact we need to understand, the Bharatiya Janata Party has always been speaking of appeasement. How is it appeasement, ma'am? The 5 schemes allowed to the Karnataka government.
Why the Siddaramaiah government let them create?
Ma'am, you asked your question. Ma'am, you asked your question. Let's try and keep this civilized. Let him answer, please.
Thank you. Yuva Nidhi, Gruha Lakshmi, Gruha Jyoti, Sakhi, Mahila, free travel rights.
Don't divert the topics. Don't divert the topics. We are talking about terrorism. You give me the answer. Why did Siddaramaiah release those culprits of PFI?
Kindly learn to be civil. You're a BJP spokesperson. Please learn to be civil. Thank you very much.
I'm a doctor. I'm very much civil. You people learn to take care of the peace and harmony of our state.
This is not fair. Absolutely not fair, ma'am. Ma'am, don't be
And
rattled.
it's
I
not
know
fair
you're
what
losing the
your
debate.
what the Congress
You are
government is
losing the
doing today
debate. That's why you're not
Dr.
allowing me to
Dr. Halkai, let him
Allow me to
answer. Let him
speak,
answer.
please.
I need to get in the other two gentlemen in as well. Let him answer, please. 30 seconds.
Absolutely not. Be it the Bharatiya Janata Party or the Congress government or even the JDS government, no one is soft on terror. How is it appeasement? Be it anybody of any crime
Why
must
did
be
you
put behind the
release?
bars. Ma'am, relax.
Why
Stop
did
your
you
Hindu
release
Muslim, ma'am.
1,500
We
culprits?
Bengalians.
Stop it
branding
right now.
Bengaluru as
Stop
a
it
terror
right
hub.
now. Why did you
Stop
release
branding
the
the state,
1,500
ma'am. We all
culprits of
need
the
to stay
PFI?
here.
Give the
Ma'am,
answer.
you're
I'm putting
shaking.
a straightforward
Poonam,
question.
I
You are
think I
not
should
answering,
resign
so you are
myself from this
diverting the
debate.
topic. It's very clear.
This lady is not stopping. She's not
Give
allowing
my
me to speak.
answers.
Ma'am, are you rattled that I'm exposing you and your party? Are you scared? Why are
You
you scared to
exposing
not
me.
allow
You
me
are
to
scared
speak?
that I am exposing
Am I
your party.
exposing your
You are
party
not
today?
giving the answer. Why
Allow
did
me
they
to
release
speak,
1,500
ma'am. This
PFI?
is not
Why
your
do
show.
they give the
This
statements
is
prior to the
CNN.
investigation
The fact,
agencies?
ma'am, I know
Why
you
are
have
you
a
trying to
problem
cloud
with
them?
minorities. That's the same reason why you're doing this. Ma'am, I heard you conveniently.
Don't talk
Allow
all
me.
this. It is a
Poonam, this is
question.
not
It is a
fair.
question of a peace and
Poonam,
harmony.
this is
My
absolutely
government
not
is the one
fair.
who have given
You are
them
rattled. You will be
all the
exposed.
schemes.
That's why you're
All
not
the
allowing me to
schemes
speak.
everywhere. The
Ma'am, you're on
minorities
the
were
wrong channel.
included.
You're not on the shouting match channel.
Don't
You're on the
try
wrong
to do the
channel.
blame
Okay,
game
Dr.
here. Don't
Okay,
try
Dr.
to
Halkai
politicize
and
here.
Dr. Halkai
I'm not
and
allowing
Mr.
to
Abbas,
speak now.
let's give this a
Allow me
rest
to
at
make
the
my
moment.
point.
Let's give
This
this a
lady
rest
is
at the moment.
troubling me.
Appeasement or
Can
not?
I get my time to speak, ma'am?
Yes.
This is not fair.
Yes, 30
This
seconds,
is
sir.
not
Please
fair.
go ahead.
You're
Try
not
and make your
answering the answer.
try and make your points, sir. 30 seconds. I need to get in the other two gentlemen as well.
Thank you. The simple point is, I think the BJP needs to stop politicizing this. Blame game is not going to help, because branding a beautiful city like Bengaluru is a terror hub is no good. Neither the state, Karnataka state. We need to understand that both the parties need to come together in tackling this issue. The fact is, irrespective of anything that comes to matters of social security, national security, state security, the stand must be united and sacrosanct. Stop this
Why
blaming
has
appeasement
Congress
politics,
government
minority
failed
politics.
in
The reason is,
keeping up the
I know,
peace and
ma'am, for
harmony
you,
of the
Hindu
state?
Muslim
Why
together
there's
doesn't
collapse of
give
law
you a
and
good
order?
picture
Why the
vote
crimes
wise.
in Karnataka
We
is increased
Muslims,
more
we
than
Hindus, Sikhs,
50%?
Isais,
You
will be
answer me.
together
You
and
answer me. This
answer
is
you.
not the answer for
You
my
don't hold
question,
the
mister.
spirit of Bengaluru, ma'am. The spirit of Bengaluru,
I am a
you will
Bengalorean. I
see
was born and
tomorrow
brought up
at
in
Rameshwaram
Bangalore.
Cafe. So
I
stop
very
your
well
petty
appreciate
politics.
the spirit
I
of the
request you
Bangaloreans.
as a
Keep up the
Bangalorean
spirit
to
of the
please stop your
Bangaloreans that they
petty
have voted
politics
you all.
and don't be so rattled by the truth.
Doing
The
petty
truth will
politics. It's
expose
not the
you. We
BJP
will come
government
together
and the
as
people of
Bangaloreans.
Karnataka are
Don't
fed
get
up with
so
the
scared of
Congress government.
unity.
You are
We
not
will be
maintaining the
united
law and
and we will
order.
take on terror head on. You need to understand that.
When?
In a debate,
When?
because you
When?
don't have
When?
points, you are rattled, you try to take a voice down. You can't
You
do that,
didn't
ma'am.
answer me. Why did
People
they
are
release
smart.
1,500
They will
PFI people? You
understand your
please tell
viewpoint.
me.
They will
My question
understand the
is very
truth.
simple.
We
My question is
Bangaloreans
simple. Why
know
did they release
the same
1,500
reason why your
people
party
of the
was
PFI by the
taken for a
Siddaramaiah
task.
government?
The
Why the
people
case
came out and
against
voted for a
PFI was
Congress
closed when in
party.
the Kerala,
It is
when
the
in
same
Kerala,
reason why.
the
The
Oman,
fact that
they
today on
had
this
gone to
debate
the
you're
court
exposing
to
yourself.
against the PFI.
You're so
Why in
scared that I'm
Karnataka it was
exposing
not
you
done?
and your party. I'm
You are
exposing
exposing
you and your
me. The
party
Congress
here.
government is
Your
exposed
lies.
already.
That is what you need to understand. Congress is working
India
for all,
has
not
come
for any
down.
community.
My Prime
Did they
Minister
say
has taken the
Hindus or
bold
Muslims?
steps
No.
to end
They're doing it
terrorism.
for every community
It
that
is
is
not a
present
question
in
of
the
Hindu
state of
Muslim. Don't
Karnataka.
divert the
So your
topic. Don't
petty
divert the
politics,
topic.
please stop,
Karnataka
ma'am.
government
Your
is
petty politics is
abruptly
no
failed
good.
in maintaining the law
United
and
is the
order.
way
Okay,
to
Dr.
go.
Halkai and Syed
United
Asad
we
Abbas.
stand divided
Dr.
we
Halkai and
stand.
Syed Asad Abbas, we've heard the allegations come to the fore from both sides. I want to get in the former DCP on this as well. Sir, it's unfortunate that at times like this we hear comments come to the fore from across the board. This kind of politics is what hampers investigations like these, isn't it?
See, a kind of prejudice is always created when the parties, they should be united on the front of fighting the terrorism. It is not that terrorists will not see which government is in power. The blasts have taken place during Congress rule as well as during BJP rule. Both the governments are in.
So, but PFI agencies were arrested by the BJP, sir. The PFI were arrested by the BJP, but not the Congress people.
It is ultimate responsibility of the police to maintain the law and order, detect the cases, bring the culprits to the book and put them behind the bars. Most of the accused are still behind the bars. There is no question of appeasement. Law doesn't appease anyone. An accused. Always.
But why the statements are given prior before the investigation agencies are given, sir?
A terrorist is a terrorist. No,
that's what we say. Terrorist is a terrorist.
Parties, both the parties, whichever party, political party, they wish to take advantage of the situation. Unlike
Sir, we are not here to take advantage of the situation. We are not here to take the advantage of
Poonam,
the
you always do
And
that.
that's not how it should be, irrespective of which party is in power. It's the people that suffer at the end of it. 9 people were injured at this particular blast at Rameshwaram Cafe 1 week ago. Unfortunately, we haven't reached anywhere as far as the investigation goes. We do hope that
why not over
justice is meted out sooner than later. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. I have to thank you all for joining us here on this broadcast and sharing your perspective. With that, it's time for a quick break here on this edition. On the other side, war of words in a political fight ahead of the big 2024 clash. This is over the government's decision to cut prices of LPG cylinders. Is this a masterstroke by the government, or is this a jumla like the opposition says?
गुरुजी
So that's what I'm saying. So she says that पहले छुप छुप के करना पड़ता था, रात के 2 बजे उठ के she was studying on YouTube. Can you imagine? And then when she got her first salary, then she said, I've earned it. Now everybody's saying, do more. So that's why I said it keeps circling back to financial independence, and that is the key. And like Mariska rightly said, that it's, and actually Meghna said that it's not just about earning the money; it's knowing how to invest,
and save and
spend on LV bags or whatever. You have a new brand ambassador. You for people if you're asking, if you're watching, please. And she will not come for free. She will not come for free. Okay, she'll tell a story, and you better pay her what she deserves. But on that note, I want to turn the conversation a little bit, and I want to talk about men in our lives, right? I want to understand from you, when did you ever have to ask for, or did you ever have the courage to ask for more money, and what happened then? I would have said salary increment, but then I realized in your thing, I mean, you're your own boss. You're your own boss. But how do you negotiate? Because I find that very hard for women to do.
You know, I just ask. I just ask. I also have, and I'm jokingly saying that I have a inflated sense of self-importance of the level of talent that I bring to the table, of the intellect and the value that or the entertainment that I bring to the places that I enter for that purpose. And so I ask. I'm very shameless. I get turned down a lot, but I just ask. Because you know what, पूछने के पैसे नहीं जाते. Right? So now I want to tell you at the end of this, she's going to come to you. Oh God. My QR code be like, so
no budget, please, madam, please be kind.
But I always ask, and I think that in the current world that we live in, everyone actually starts at 20% more than what they actually think they deserve, and then they expect people to negotiate. Oh, sorry, ladies. Everyone starts at 20% additional of what they deserve, and then they expect you to negotiate, or they expect to come back to you and be like, oh, we'll give you a number lesser than this.
Yeah.
Then you come back to them and you say,
you must be going through this. You always expect women to do everything for free for some reason.
So, you know, there's a lot, and in fact, ironically enough, on Women's Day, there's a lot of, they'll be like, oh my God, so it's Women's Day, huge fan, love your comedy, you're the best. And I'm like, stop it, I agree. And then they'll be like, oh, but also, this is a not-for-profit.
Yes.
And we give you visibility. And I'm like, I am for-profit. I run a charity, me. I would like to be compensated adequately. And I do think that I, in fact, do more than my share of pro bono work. I'm almost like 4 times a month, I'll go out to a school, or I'll go out to places where, I feel like they'll be like, oh, can you share your story? Can you come and do your comedy? So I do that enough. But I also then ask.
I agree with you. And I think this is where a bit of a highlight for India is happening. So we looked at statistics that came from WHO, UN, and all these these numbers sort of tell a very beautiful story. They talk about how women find it very hard to ask for an increment. But in India, that number is slightly sort of turning the curve, and Indian women are above the curve compared to the world, which is great, which is really nice.
Go man, ladies.
But do they actually get more by asking? I'm not so sure if that statistic has sort of come out just yet, which is what we should ask for.
You know, may I add to that? So I have realized that whenever I'm hiring women, I delight in the fact that when they're like, that's my price, I'm like, yes. Because they're almost always shocked. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, just let's do it. Let's do it at that rate. I do think that actually there is a penalty for asking. There is a penalty. And I also do think that the lines of who asks for more as Indian women is also divided along caste and class. That when it's easier for me to ask because I have like lesser to lose. You know what I'm saying? My rent is covered. I can eat. I can, you know, I have enough money for my 2 dogs. But I do think that there is a penalty for asking. That I think the world loves penalizing confident women. She thinks too much of herself and
she's too happy.
Tanvi, is that the case in your journey so far? Do you find it hard? Or there's this, we're all getting sensitizing ourselves to body positivity, right? We're all learning to embrace our body, me included. After my child, I had such a tough time to sort of just look at myself and smile. I had a really hard time, but we're all getting there thanks to women like you. So I just really want to say that everything that, like I said, representation is everything, right? But how does it work in your industry where it's largely led by women, but do you ask for raise? Are there some tricks, some tips you can share?
So we are also freelancers, right? But we have a different set of issues. So in our industry, it is largely led by women, straight-sized women. So that's a different issue altogether. So we, fat creators, really get underpaid. Like the same work that I'm doing, and probably some straight-sized creator who has lesser followers. That counts in our industry, the number. So who has lesser followers, who probably won't give the kind of quality that I will give, who probably won't give the kind of message that I will give, will still get paid much more than me. And initially though, for the first 5-6 years, fat creators weren't getting paid only. So we've just begun getting paid.
Meaning you were told that it's such a privilege that you get to share
experience. You're getting to work with this brand.
We hear that word.
You're getting to work with this brand. You're getting to learn so much. I'm like, I've learned. I know how to create content. You need to pay me. So it wasn't working, and then eventually I would lose out on that job. So then I had to sort of, this was my journey where I had to do work for like 5-6 years without getting paid.
It's a gradual, it's a gradual curve and it's a journry over there.
You know, my favorite is the when they're like, you'll get exposure. I'm like, मैं exposure को चावल में मिला के खा नहीं सकती, तो मेरे को पैसे दे दो. I would love that.
But even female authors get that. We get lower advances, we get lower royalties, we get fewer awards. So even the Booker Award, for example, has been given to only 1/3 of women. Some major literary awards in India have only, and this is not for lack of talent. This is sheer, literally, sort of patriarchy.
But is that because less women are writing, or
not at all? There's so many female writers, but we're just undermined. Like I've won more awards and had more books published than most male authors, but they'll still get a higher advance, and that's just something you're penalized for just because of your gender. But I've learned again to ask for what I deserve, and I've lost a lot of opportunities, but I'm like, I'd rather just be paid for my talent and my hard work and my time.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the most famous authors of all time, T.S. Eliot, was a woman but had to give herself this sort of gender neutral name.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling had to give herself
an androgynous name so that she could be mistaken for a male writer, and therefore she sold so many. A.L. James of 50 Shades of Grey took on an androgynous name because her publisher told her that if she writes as a woman, she will not sell as many copies. So when I entered publishing, they told me to publish as MD Pant. Meghna Deep Pant, which is my actual name, because log samjhenge tum mard ho, you will sell more, because men buy books written by men.
What?
Women
People
also
who
buy
are looking
books
at author
written by
names and
men.
buying. I don't even understand. Who
I
are
am
these
now
people?
known as Aditya Mittal, so please reach out to me for...
Okay, you know, while all of us privileged women talk about stuff like that, I want to...
Welcome back. Prime Minister Modi announced a cut of 100 rupees per cylinder in cooking gas prices on the occasion of International Women's Day today. The price reduction, which comes just days before the likely announcement of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, is set to benefit nearly 33 crore households that use liquefied petroleum gas or LPG as cooking fuel. Now, while making the big announcement, the Prime Minister hailed it as a move to reduce the financial burden on women. It was their commitment to strengthen Nari Shakti, is what the Prime Minister said. Let's take a look at some figures first and how the government has reduced LPG cylinder rates over the last 6 months or so. In July 2023, the normal consumer had to pay 1103 rupees per cylinder. Ujjwala beneficiaries, of course, had to pay 903. In August 2023, the government slashed cooking gas prices by 200 rupees. For every other consumer, that meant it was now at 903. For Ujjwala beneficiaries, they had to now pay 703 rupees per cylinder. In October 2023, then we had some more reductions. Only for the Ujjwala beneficiaries, that price was reduced to 603 is what we're given to understand. After today's announcement, everyday consumer will have to pay 803 for each LPG gas cylinder, while Ujjwala beneficiaries will be paying only 503. Now, slamming the opposition's narrative and defending its big measure, the centre maintained that global queues resulted and prompted the slashing of prices. Let's take a look if that's a valid argument to make. Over 60% of domestic LPG consumption is imported by India. Prices of commercial LPG are set by LPG marketing firms, which is why we saw even recently that prices were hiked as far as commercial LPG cylinders went. The government, though, modulates effective pricing for domestic LPG usage. Now, the price benchmark that is looked at as far as deciding these prices are, it went up from $415 per metric ton in 2021 to $712 per metric ton in 2023. Now, these oil marketing firms allegedly suffered under recoveries of about 28,000 crore rupees because of that. What the government did in response was they approved a one-time compensation of 22,000 crore rupees to these oil marketing companies. Now, war words had to break out where in election season, the opposition is not resting easy over this announcement. They have been firing pot shots at the centre, calling this a jumla. Defending the move, though, the centre fact-checked the opposition. They said this had nothing to do with the elections. Let's take a look at what they had to say. Moments after that announcement was made by the Prime Minister on social media, the opposition said that this was another election jumla. The BJP said the timing has nothing to do with it, it's all in the opposition's head. The opposition asked the centre why they didn't do it in the last 7 months. Why did they wait for a few days before the date announcement was to happen? To which the BJP said that the move depended on global cues and the decision was taken after crude oil prices came down. The opposition didn't stop at that. They went on further to ask what exactly was happening as far as this particular easing of financial burden is concerned. That's what the government said they were trying to do. To which the government said that the opposition, all they do is try and put out barbs, but they do not do anything and only question the BJP because they in fact have been pushed into the corner. So the big question that we ask on Plain Speak tonight is this decision an election jumla or a masterstroke by the central government?
और आज ही मैं अभी आप तो यहाँ बैठे हैं, मैं गैस सिलेंडर का 100 रुपया कम करके आया हूँ.
Just when election is 10 days, I mean it will probably be announced in the next 5 or 6 days is what I hear in the media. So ये और एक जुमला है भैया.
चुनाव होने के बाद, चुनाव का फल निकलने का पहले देखा जाएगा 100 रुपया कम किया, 200 रुपया बढ़ा दिया.
अभी क्यों किया? अरे हर एक चुनाव से पहले मुझसे पूछते हैं ये कम क्यों नहीं होता है दाम. हाँ, मुझे पूछा जाता है और मैं कहता हूँ इसके साथ चुनाव का कोई लेना देना ही नहीं है.
Joining me on this broadcast, national spokesperson of the BJP, Syed Zafar Islam, Sujata Paul, spokesperson of the Congress. But before we get into the politics of it, I want to get in policy economist Nirupama Soundarajan first in. Ma'am, the government says that this decision has been taken now because global cues are what matters. Prices were reduced, so we've passed on the benefit to consumers. Is that sound argument to make? Because the opposition doesn't seem to agree with it.
I think it is a sound argument to make, and this is an argument that was also made way back in 2023 when I think Minister Puri at that time had also said that if the price were to come down below $750 per metric ton, then they would pass that on to the consumer. So I think as you had read out right at the beginning, the kind of rates decline that we see, they've been reducing it in a systematic manner. So I think this is just in line with it. Plus, given it's Women's Day, and with that narrative, another additional 100 also acts as a bonus.
Right, so the timing is just coincidental, Sujata Paul. Why does the opposition not believe that?
Do you really want us to believe that? Well, the fact is that because the Prime Minister has announced that this is Women's Day and he's doing it on the occasion of Women's Day, he never said that the prices of crude oil have come down. That's why he's passing the benefit. If he had to do that, then if you look at the last 10-year chart, then I would say that yes, there were many times when prices had reached the same as it is today, $78.93 per barrel. But was it passed on to us? No, it wasn't. So if you remember, when the assembly elections were around the corner, of course, cut was announced, and now another cut has been announced because yes, the issues of the people include price rise and inflation, and people are asking for relief from it, and the government has not been able to do anything in the last 10 years. But this, of course, is a jumla, and this is the new name for jumla is guarantee. That is the Prime Minister's guarantee that when elections are around the corner, then he will give us some benefit, a little bit, but he will. But after elections are over, and God forbid if he were to come back, he would say, oh, the prices have gone up again, so let's increase it by another 400 rupees. So if he is passing on the benefit, this is nothing short of a jumla or the new word of guarantee of Pradhan Mantri.
This is fakery at its best, Zafar Islam, is what the opposition has also alleged, that the voters are not going to fall for this. Why didn't the Prime Minister say that this was because crude oil prices had reduced? Why did he say this was for Women's Day and for Nari Shakti? That's one of the objections that the opposition has.
Well, you have to understand one thing very clearly, that the Prime Minister has always spoken about how to empower women. Also, he always has spoken that the women of this great country is either sister or mother of the Honorable Prime Minister. And today is a very important day. I congratulate to both the women panelists that today is International Women's Day, and this is a very important day for both of them and for all the women of our great country and the world as a whole. And it is our tradition, and I'm sure that everyone knows that it's our tradition. On such occasion, you definitely, when you say brother or son, they definitely give some present, and I'm sure that this should be seen as a gift from the Prime Minister to all the sisters and mothers of this great country. That is something which is very, very evident.
The opposition does see it as a gift, sir, but they think it's a gift to bribe voters to vote for the BJP. That's the allegation that they're making. They see it as a gift.
See, see, he has also extended 300 rupees, the Ujjwala gas connection beneficiaries. They have also extended for one more year. That decision came yesterday in the cabinet decision. The Prime Minister has always focused, not to now, always focused that our priority is the women. We need to empower women. Our priority is to empower youth. That's why many decisions has been taken to empower youth. Our priority is to empower the farmers, and we have taken many decisions. So if Nari Shakti have taken a decision, I think we should every woman should congratulate Prime Minister. They must compliment Prime Minister for having been so sensitive and sincere about this the expectation of the Nari Shakti of the country. And if he does something, the people only make this kind of allegation, but fact that the women of this country is very happy. You heard the economist that she said that it makes sense. You ask any women on the street, you will get to hear that Prime Minister is very sincere about their expectations, about their requirement. I mean, who has delivered 33% reservation? It is us. It is the Prime Minister who has delivered 33% reservation to women. Who else has done it? Tell me. And it is not only one thing. There are many such benefit he has given to the Nari Shakti, and he will continue to give whether there is election, there is no election, but it's a commitment which he is delivering, which he has made it time and again that my commitment is to empower
Sure.
women of this great
Sure,
country.
so this
and
is
that
just the
what I
Prime
think.
Minister walking the talks as the BJP Sujata Paul. It's just the opposition's way of doing politics. So all they do is try and find issues when there are none.
Poonam, I remember that in 2020, when the pandemic was going on, I have the chart in front of me. The crude oil prices had gone down to $20 per barrel, and prices of cylinders didn't come down. Why? Didn't we deserve it? But for the Prime Minister, you're absolutely right. Women can only be measured by the work they do in a kitchen. But of course, as far as jobs are concerned, they will not give jobs. Today, I saw a young girl who has lost her job in spite of the fact that she's a Dalit girl who had done her PhD, who was a professor at DU, and she is selling pakoras. That is what the Prime Minister wants. And about the Nari Shakti Vandan, whatever law that they have brought in, I want to know why is it that it has not been implemented right now. The women on the streets also want to know why is it that we won't have 181 odd women in Parliament in the next, Parliament. The fact is that this is only a sweetener that you have given to the women of the country because you think that women should be in the kitchen and nowhere else. As far as jobs are concerned, how many jobs have been given? And of course, I also want to know for women, the best gift for women today would have been seeing the Prime Minister talk about the women of Manipur, going and meeting them, meeting the women wrestlers who have been protesting, but no, there will be no action taken against Brijbhushan Charan Singh because he is important, not the women of the country. The women will only have to be given 100 rupee, lowering of the gas cylinder. Please, I think women deserve better and the Prime Minister should understand it. But this is the Chal Charitra Chehra of the BJP and we do understand that. So your jumlas, like your guarantees, are fake, and we do understand that this is election season and there will be more things which the Prime Minister is going to come up with now because he's
Can I
under
just
pressure.
respond, please?
Go ahead, Mr. Islam.
Can I just respond to her? Yeah. First of all, ask her. I mean, I'm posing a question that recently there was a Rajya Sabha election. How many women they have been given, have been given by Congress party? Just ask her whether 33% reservation they made while announcing the ticket for the Rajya Sabha. They talk nonsense. They try to preach, but they never practice. But it is the Prime Minister. Just see, we have made the announcement of 195 seats. So many women have been given the tickets, and there are many women who will be given tickets in the list, second list or third list whenever it comes. Even in Delhi, where we are sitting, 5 seats have been announced and 2 are women. So I think they should introspect whether really they are what they preach, they practice. Secondly, see, it is the negative politics of the opposition parties actually is killing them. People have lost confidence in them. If there is anything is happening, it is just the routine 100 rupees relief to women. I think everybody should welcome. It will never become an issue. But they purposely make it an issue because the mindset they have, negative mindset, and it only benefits us. They are the biggest loser by raising questions, by making this kind of statement, by making putting us in the dock for announcing something good for the women. She should welcome it instead of criticizing it.
Pontificating on the nonsense that a woman is speaking on Women's Day, but this is not nonsense. I want to understand why is it that the Prime Minister has not been able to find any other relation with his daughters who have been suffering at the hands of Brijbhushan Charan Singh. Brijbhushan Charan Singh will get a ticket, right? And also Miss Swaraj, who has been given a ticket from Delhi, has got the ticket because she's the daughter of Sushma Swaraj, who was no doubt a great politician. But has Bansuri Swaraj really delivered as a politician that she's got a ticket? So, the Prime Minister will do what he wants to because he's Maharaja Diraj, Shahenshah Azam and all that. So, let's not get there and stop calling women nonsense. The nonsense that you are pontificating on is clear that you do not understand what the women of this country want. When we talk about the issues of this country, we are promising jobs. We are promising 30 lakh vacant jobs which are there in the government departments because you haven't filled them. The fact is that today it is not just the women but even the youth of the country who are looking at you and asking you, why didn't you give them jobs? And why didn't you answer about the lady that I spoke about who was making pakoras today? You want women to make pakoras, and that's why you're talking about cylinders becoming 100 rupee less, and that being a great gift of not mankind, a great gift of Modi kind to women. How cool is that?
I think the Congress party and its negative approach and negative politics actually is bringing them from 53 seats in 2014 to 42 seats and 43 seats in 2019, and now it will be not even be double digit, I guess, because the kind of politics they are pursuing. Please, I do not interrupt. Please have some decency.
Sujata Paul, you had your time. Sujata Paul, you had your time to make a point. Let him finish. I'll come back to you. Let him finish.
Mr. Zafar Islam should say whether this is about politics. And he's answered it. This is only for the sake of politics that women are being given this rebate of 100.
Sure, you've made your point. You've made your point, Sujata Paul. You made your point, Sujata Paul. Let him have his say as well. Go ahead, sir.
All I'm trying to tell you that every woman you ask, except the opposite people are in opposition out of compulsion, what they are saying, heart to heart they are also happy, and she will not say here, but she is happy that there is some benefit going to the women of the country. But it is this government, it is the Honorable Prime Minister's positive approach is being appreciated, and their negative approach, negative politics, and criticizing government, putting government in the dock for every single thing, actually have made them very unpopular in the minds and the hearts of the people of this great country. That's why the receptiveness of their whatever they speak is absolutely zero.
Sure, the kind of comments that come to the fore, the kind of politics that who indulges in when and whether that bears fruits for them or not, we'll find out sooner than later. But Nirupama Soundararajan, we're talking about inflation, we're talking about joblessness. These are things that are spoken of as policy matters ahead of any election. But it's also about optics. Whether the Modi government is doing everything right or not, many would say at least they're winning the optics battle. Whether it's a lie, it's fakery as the opposition says or not, it is about what message is being sent out to the common voter on ground.
Look, I'll give you my opinion as an economist, and I will tell you what I think as a woman, and as far as not just the 100 rupees is concerned, but generally as far as policies that have been for women-led entrepreneurs, women in workforce. First thing, I think the 100 rupees reduction in LPG is great for any household. I'm not going to say woman. I think it's good for any household, and it's a question of a reduction, and there are many households where the price is high. This will actually free up some money. So to that extent, it is great. The timing, whether it can be done now, whether it could have been done earlier, I'm not going to comment on that. But now that it is done, I think there is an impact that it will certainly have. Point one. Point two, I think when we're discussing about women empowerment and schemes that are being done for women, I think this government has introduced quite a few schemes. The recent vote on account also spoke of mudra loans, in which almost 85 to 90% of the loans that went have been for women. There has been a certain kind of uptake in terms of women-led entrepreneurship. However, there is a lot more that's needed to be done, and this is not going to happen just through government policies. It requires a mindset change, even at by corporate India. I'll give you just a very basic example. If you look at the funding gap between women-led entrepreneurs and male-led entrepreneurs, it's nearly $11.4 billion. That's the funding gap. That's how much. That's the market that you have for women entrepreneurs, which is not being catered to. Now, these are the real issues. Now, this is not something that the government can also resolve just by a policy. This is something which is far more insidious and underlying, and these are the kind of issues which are structural that needs to be addressed. The 100 rupees reduction, you call it what you may, whether it's optics, whether it's not, it does have an impact, and that's great. But obviously, I doubt whether any one person is going to be swayed in terms of their voting.
It does have an impact on certain households, like the economist of the panel is also saying. It also will have an impact on how the voter votes, is what the BJP hopes for. Whether it's about optics or not, whether it's a jumla like the opposition says, public sab janti hai, and I leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective. It's a wrap from my side here on this edition. Rahul Shivshankar joins you next.
Viewers, in just a few moments, of course, the Congress will announce its first list. We are being told that the Congress party is going to be holding a press conference very, very soon. Obviously, all eyes and ears will be on whether Rahul Gandhi will contest from Amethi. There's massive suspense regarding that. There's been a lot of talk by Congress leaders that Rahul Gandhi this time is going to contest from Amethi. What we can tell you, we already have some inside details that in all likelihood,